Ezra Levant here for Rebel News. I'm standing on Parliament Hill the day that the trucker convoy is in full effect in the nation's capital. Believe it or not, there are still thousands more people streaming in to the capital, not just from the west, but from the east, from Quebec. There's a lot of First Nations people here today. I see an enormous number of Canadian flags, Quebec flags, historical flags, and Aboriginal flags as well. It's a real feeling of unity. People here are from many different backgrounds. Obviously some blue-collar truckers, but some professionals. In my hotel, I met people from Alberta, Saskatchewan, Nova Scotia, Ontario, and Quebec. I even see some American flags here. I'm not sure if they came up out of solidarity or if they're signaling to the rest of the world that it's time to stand up and resist. This Canadian trucker convoy has received international coverage, and in fact I see news that in Canberra, Australia, they're planning a trucker convoy too. Around me are, I don't know, it's hard to see when you're in the middle of it. It's got to be at least 10,000 people already, and I should tell you it is so cold here. You can see from the steam from my breath, it's I think minus 22 last I checked. What's funny is that the crowd is so positive and peaceful. Sure, there's a message of defiance and resistance, but there's no anger or rage. It has a festival feeling. It feels like a city that just won the Stanley Cup. All night people were honking and just enjoying being with like-minded souls. I think that's the real power of this event. You know, I talked to some people who said, what's going to happen? Will the government fall? Will we serve some constitutional notice on the Senate or the Governor General? Those are fanciful theories. That's not how it works. Unfortunately, the only way to remove Justin Trudeau and the lockdowns are through hard work in elections, through judicial actions, but of course the courts have been submissive so far. I think there is no shortcut out of the mess we're in because we didn't get into it quickly. We're not going to get out of it quickly. But that man that I said this to was a little disappointed in me, and he said, well then what's the point? Why are we here? Trudeau himself, the coward, ran away. MPs have run away. Even the cowardly lion of the Conservative Party, Erin O'Toole, refuses to meet with the actual convoy. So what's the point if that parliament is full of deaf ears? And here's what I said. The feeling that you're not alone. The feeling that literally millions of Canadians saw themselves reflected in the convoy and realized that it was that they were the Canadian patriots, you can see by all the flags, that Trudeau and the lockdown premiers were the ones who were out of step with Canadian norms. The fact that we could come together and be face to face without people saying, hey, 6 feet distance, hey, where's your mask? That we're the normal ones. And that Justin Trudeau, who said that this was a fringe minority, he's the extremist. He's the fringe. In fact, he has literally a minority government. No Canadian government has ever been empowered with a lesser vote in an election. I think the value of this gathering was to show Canadians of all classes, of all backgrounds, of all races, of all provinces, of all languages, that there's a unity in the defiance, and that it's Canadian to object to what's going on. And this is a very Canadian protest, very peaceful, despite the Liberal media's attempt to paint it as some sort of insurrection. I'll be here today, and tomorrow we have about a dozen other Rebel News reporters, including my friend Lincoln, who's holding my camera so I can have my hands in my gloves. I had to run back to the hotel because I was getting a bit of frostbite. We're going to interview people on the street and learn a little bit more about why they're here, where they came from. We're going to talk to any official that we see, but I don't think we're going to see any. I have seen signs that some Conservative MPs will meet the crowd. I look forward to seeing them, and I hope they're not going to be kicked out of the party by Erin O'Toole as others have been. But in closing, it's great to be here, and so many people have come so far. It's a sign that not all is well in Canada, and that the new normal is not acceptable. Everyone here wants the old normal, which was a pretty great normal. For more updates, go to convoyreports.com. We have about a dozen folks here in town. Unlike the CBC and the rest of the media party, we don't take a dime from Trudeau, and it shows. If you can chip in a few bucks to help cover our hotel costs, I'd be grateful. That's at convoyreports.com.